Hello, everyone. Today we're having a fantastic discussion with amazing speakers. We'll be talking about how to teach a girl to code, how we can equip girls for life. And with that, potentially fixing the gender gap in tech. I'm Natalia Karayaneva, the founder of the company called Propy, based in Silicon Valley. And I'm very thrilled to have Dora and Līna today with me. Līna Martha Sarma, she's a co-creator at Riga Tech Girls. And Dora is a co-founder and CEO of imagiLabs, an ag tech company making products that empower girls with the skills, confidence, and community to create with technology. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
Dora, could we start with you, please? How did you get in this outstanding and very impactful journey?
Yeah, thank you so much, first of all, for the kind of introduction, and excited to kick this off. So yes, my name is Dora. I'm originally from Hungary, but right now I'm based in Stockholm, Sweden, and this is where I founded my company, imagiLabs. I have a background in science, and I got into coding during my university studies at NYU Abu Dhabi because I discovered that coding was such an essential 21st century skill, and that in order to solve my problems that came up with research and studies, I actually had to learn to code. And so I got exposed to technology in this very organic way, and I got more and more excited about it as I understood that it was an extremely powerful tool to solve the problems I cared about. And I went on to working as a developer at Morgan Stanley and then later UX designer at Cisco. But throughout this process, or journey, so to say, I constantly experienced sort of the gender disproportion in the industry. And when I was starting my master's degree in human-computer interaction, I had a research project working together with young women and trying to co-create a product idea for them to learn coding with. And so instead of sort of continuing with a tech career or like a journey at a bigger tech company, I decided to start a company specifically targeting girls between 9 and 15 and creating for them this product that would make coding fun and relatable. And so I've been running this company for soon 3 years. And it's been extremely rewarding. And as you said, we are believing that this way we're contributing to fixing the gender gap in tech.
Fantastic, thank you. We're looking forward to hearing all about your challenges and successes. Līna, how about you? What's your background?
Hello, thank you, Natalia. I really similarly actually started out by studying computer science, but I very quickly actually in my life realized that there is this kind of a stereotype around guys being more prone to going into IT. And that is something that I realized after my high school degree, where I studied the arts very extensively, because people around me supported me studying arts, and I thought that this is the right way. Mostly because everyone kind of also suggested that this is the right path for me, even though I had really good grades in everything, including the sciences. And a couple of years forward, and I studied computer science in my bachelor's. Changed my life 180 degrees, and going from a specific kind of like a arts and humanities high school degree and switching and going into computer science in my bachelor's. I studied there in London in Goldsmiths University. And after that, I actually moved back home, which is where I am today in Riga, in Latvia. And I started working for our main startup hub in Riga called Tech Hub Riga. Worked there as a managing director for a couple of years because due to the fact that I had lived in the UK for a while, I wanted to get to know the people in here. I wanted to feel like I'm working in technology, but also kind of providing support and getting to know the community better, and not only at the point anymore working as a programmer. And then after that, I actually during this period, I met the lovely women of Riga Tech Girls, got involved, and this is how I started to become more and more a part of the team, and how we started to build and grow very, very rapidly as part of Riga Tech Girls. So currently, I'm actually also studying my master's degree in University College London. And I'm studying this very specified research degree, which is kind of involves 3D modeling and environmental engineering, and how can we help build more sustainable software programs for engineers and architects. But in order to do this, you actually need programmers who can do this work and can build these applications. It's kind of like a very interesting collaboration. And a part of that, I work on a daily basis in Riga Tech Girls, and we help women within the region, women and girls, to get inspired about technology and feel like technology and IT is actually a place for them, and try to kind of also break down the stereotypes, but provide women with the opportunities to go to these coding boot camps, and we organize workshops and meetups and have role models, and we get involved into a lot of conferences, and kind of suggest female speakers for those who haven't actually thought that there should be a more diverse, let's say, for example, a panel or a discussion, and then we suggest them speakers that we already know who are great speakers and who are from the IT industry and are, for example, female founders.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that's my long story.
That's an outstanding story. I see a lot of similarities with my journey, and getting inspired, I think, is the key word. How we can inspire women to get into STEM career, but we'll discuss about that a little bit later. Before that, I just wanted to talk to you why it matters, why we need women in tech. Myself, I also entered university to study environmental science, but then software engineering was introduced to all of us as a mandatory subject. So we had to learn coding, regardless if you're interested in that or not. And I loved it so much that I, just like you, Līna, I just transitioned into programming and graduated as a software engineer. But back in days, it was not that trendy, of course. It was economics, business administration, the majors that were demanded by young generation. Now I think this is changing, and we have a better opportunity to bring girls to learn coding. But before that, Dora, why do you think it matters so that we have diversity in this profession?
Right. I think there's actually so many reasons why it matters, and depending on who your target audience is, who you're trying to convince, there is real like economic reasons. There is a huge like lack of developers. This is a global problem, but just in Europe, I mean, I know just in Sweden, we were missing something like 70,000 developers. So of course, like by bringing in to like the currently untapped half of our talents, this problem could partially be solved. And of course, the technology is creating really, really great job opportunities. And women shouldn't be left out of this extremely quickly growing industry. But I think what's also really exciting and sort of like a different aspect of it is that simply we just need diversity among the creators of tech, because you can already see a lot of pitfalls of products being created because they don't involve diverse makers, essentially. So I think some of the examples I often use are things like, there have been studies showing, like how phones are simply too big for women to hold or put in your pockets, but you're still expected to carry it around all the time for a lot of the apps to work, or how when Apple first launched its health monitoring apps, it didn't even include anything about, female health or cycles, or things like voice recognition, not recognizing female voices simply because it was just trained by the employees of the tech companies who developed it, and they just didn't have a lot of female employees. So I think there's a lot of sort of like specific examples where you can see that we are actually missing out on creating products for everyone by not having everyone be part of the creation of it. So I think those are some of the reasons why I often think that we definitely need to change the current makeup of the industry.
Totally. And Līna, do you think excluding women can even impose danger on women's life?
Definitely from the data and from all of this research that I think stemmed and became more popular based on the book Invisible Women. Definitely, she in the book exemplified more of these cases of how when building products, and when, especially if these products are like within the industries of medicine and health, they do impose significant danger that they're not tested on females, and you don't have data to provide long-term influences that a female body would have using the same drugs as a male body would have, which is significantly dangerous and has been proved previously. And I think stemming from the book, there was kind of like a boom that quite a lot of research came out, and quite a lot of people were actually going into studying specific fields such as like mining or construction, where females are also doing the work, like even minor construction. And for example, like the bags of cement are larger, but if they would be smaller, they would be females would be able to lift them and do the same work equally, but they do have quite a lot of health problems stemming from this. Yeah, so, and it has also been shown that it's fairly dangerous. I think it's stemming from the same book regarding cars specifically, that you always do this testing with male dolls rather than the dolls that are based for a female body. So the data is inaccurate and actually shows that a female would have a 50% more likely to die within these scenarios. So definitely it does impose danger, and it mostly imposes danger for women. So we should be concerned and we should be involved more.
Absolutely. And as more and more technology is defining our daily life, the algorithms that we're building today need women and need diverse groups in gender and race to be sharing their perspectives in the table, because those algorithms will define the future of the next generation. So I totally agree that it's now it's a necessity. It's not just a nice to have thing, but it's a necessity to bring women and other diverse groups to the table. How we can, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I just wanted to add on the same topic that we just briefly touched upon, the medical parts and the health products. I just wanted to add that actually noticing that there's a problem in this has actually been very, very beneficial for some of the companies who have built very successful products for female health, and actually have been very, very successful, just because the ones who could have done it the first time didn't notice it. And there are specific apps that I think most of us know that women use on a daily basis now, that could have been there and could have been built by any of the biggest companies before that, but they just didn't do the research, didn't do the data, and didn't have women in their team, so they didn't succeed in the first time around. And now there are companies doing their work in a much, much more successful way, such as, for example, Flow is one of these. Yeah, just adding that this could be beneficial. Yeah,
absolutely. I love this app too and using it. Dora, you mentioned that you had a number of challenges while pursuing the career that you have. Can you share any story?
Well, I mean, I think probably, you know, any career is challenging if someone is ambitious and wanting to thrive. And I think I like to think of challenges not necessarily stemming from like, let's say an example of women fundraising for their startups. I know that there is data proving that women receive, I think, less than 2% or even 1% of venture capital in the Nordics, which is where I am. So of course, like there is sort of like numbers showing that being in my position should be challenging, but I still usually like to take an outlook of, okay, this is challenging for everyone. So I don't like to dwell too much on the fact that perhaps it's because I'm a female founder or because I'm a woman in tech. But that being said, of course, it's been extremely challenging to start something up from the ground. And I think something that we touched upon just now, or what Līna mentioned, I think it's so interesting that previously it has oftentimes been considered that building a product for women would be niche because you know, why not for the entire population? But I think a lot of us, and especially if you're building a startup, you understand that actually you have to be very focused on who's the audience that you're building for first. So even just saying that you're building a product for all women or all girls, that's even too wide. It's not even too niche. So I think that's sort of like an exciting opportunity. So challenges can be sort of like turned into opportunities, and that's how I like to look at it. Like in our case, it's very challenging that girls lose their interest for technology in their early teenage years. But this challenge exists because simply there are no products in the market right now that would speak to them and that would make it sort of like a natural part of their everyday life to engage with coding. So then it turns into an exciting opportunity where actually there's a gap in the market. And so I think sort of like rephrasing challenges and opportunities has been the way I'm approaching it on this sort of like founding and startup journey.
Thank you. Yeah, we do need positivity and optimistic approach. Otherwise, it's a too hard battle. Līna, how we can allow women to see these opportunities, how we can equip them to become leaders in the industry who will use technology as a force for good?
One of the key things that we do at Riga Tech Girls is that we provide role models at almost everywhere we go. We try to we have this structure and this kind of like idea that we run this organization in a circular manner, that we provide role models for women, and then hopefully they kind of grow into becoming one of the people working in tech, and then they become their also role models for other women and help them out, and kind of have this closed circle of learning to become one, and then helping out others. But I think that is one of the key things, providing role models of women in technology, and specifically paying attention for those to those women and to those role models that speak to you, that run workshops, that are participating in meetups, that are participating in conferences, and what are the companies that actually they work for, what do the companies do, and kind of like speaking about not only the skills that you need within this field, within IT, such as like programming and digital literacy and so on, but also speaking about what you're going to do with these skills, and kind of teaching from the very first steps about thinking about what you're going to do with the skills that you have, and paying attention to the companies that you work for, because you are going to build their product, you're going to influence what they do afterwards and how they influence the larger society. And this is one of the key things that we really are concerned about, because we say that we want women to become not only tech consumers, but also tech creators. But it's important to pay attention to what are these creators. So what kind of creators they are. Are they positive ones? Do they inflict positive change and work for positive companies? Or do they just go into there, and if we don't tell them anything, they just go to the first IT company that has an open position, and don't have kind of like a which is what, and maybe this is something that I should choose and this is something that I don't, even though we do know that it's very, very hard for for anyone to find these first positions and these junior roles or even like intern roles in companies, especially because we work a lot with women who have already studied somewhere and are in their kind of like after their 25s and onwards. And we work with them. So for them, it's even kind of like harder to go into a boot camp, study while they're doing, in most scenarios, something else in their daily life, either working or have children at their at home that they're taking care of. And we know that it's hard for them to find these positions, but even so, we do kind of inspire them to think about that they as programmers, or they're developers, or they as a part of this tech sector are also making a significant influence in what is the company that they're working for. And this is a key thing that we try to speak about, and it's also something that we consider within our organization as well, which are the partners that we want to work with, which are like good examples of companies that we would want to see that our participants and our followers and all the community that we have at Riga Tech Girls, they obviously look up to what are the partnerships that we have created. So it's important for them that they see those partners that do good things, and then they also feel like they're not just developers and earning money when they get to these like middle positions, but that they also make a change, and it matters to whom they work for. Yeah, that's the key things.
I love the goal of making a change to be the driven power for women to get into this profession. Before we get there, I actually want to ask you to share 1 to 2 tips, Dora. You're both leaders in this space. And as Līna mentioned, we have to be role models. Dora, what are 1 to 2 tips that you can share with ladies, women and girls that can help them also be a role model in this space?
What a question.
Yeah, what do you consistently show as an example, and you'd like also others to probably get inspired?
I mean, I think definitely sort of like walking the talk. So leading by example is what I believe in general. So not necessarily speaking, but actually, doing the work. And so sort of that is exactly what we are doing with imagiLabs, where we have found a problem that we are extremely passionate about solving. And that has given us, me and my co-founders, the motivation to, dedicate our time and resources and our professional sort of like opportunities to actually starting a startup, a company. So I think one of the most important things for me, and what I find sort of like both fulfilling on an individual level, but important on a larger scale, is to just find a problem that I truly care about, and for anyone to find a problem that you truly care about and see how you can use your talent to help solving that problem. So that is in big part. And I think obviously I care a lot about sort of like learning and how learning happens. And I think learning happens best when you're at this like sort of exact level of being challenged, but also like sort of enjoying yourself and succeeding. And so I think I just like to say to keep growing and keep learning and keep exploring. And I think that's like the most important thing in order to sort of like stay both sort of like happy and motivated in your work. And that's something that's really exciting about being in tech, but also just like knowing technical skills, because again, I just like to sort of like re-emphasize that it's sort of just a tool, and really just allows you to work on the things that you find exciting.
Love it, absolutely. So dedication, finding the problem to solve, having growing mindset, and hardworking.
Guess that does not hurt. Yeah.
Fantastic. Līna, you mentioned the social impact and overall impactful goals to be the driven part of anyone willing to get into this profession. does introducing coding in the context of social and environmental problems make it more appealing to women?
It definitely does. We have talked about the fact that women are more driven to pay attention to social change and to environmental factors, and they are concerned about it more than men. So this is something that we have discussed previously, that it's firstly a good thing to talk about this, so that they it's appealing for them, that they see a purpose for this outside of just a profession, that they see that the idea of this change is appealing to women, I think, in general, because they feel like they are going to have an impact with their work. And so they have this kind of like a drive more inside of them to learn, despite the fact that it's hard and it's a very different skill set of what they have learned before. And the older you get, the harder it is to come to terms of how different this skill set is. But this idea, yeah, social impact does appeal to them, and this is something that we are kind of using to the advantage, because it's also advantageous to the companies as well. So for females who get involved in teams, and something that I think we previously mentioned, they can make an impact within the teams themselves, because they bring this idea of social change within the company. They bring these ideas of how we could improve and how we could do things better, and better not only for us, but for larger parts of the society, or larger parts of people's groups. So the key thing is that we also see that women within companies, because they are concerned about this, because it is more appealing to this, they bring this good, positive social aspect within the teams that they work in, and thus the companies that they work for.
Absolutely. Love it. Dora, in your company, how many girls have you been teaching to code so far?
Yeah, actually, I was about to show, because I thought it could also be just fun, just so that I give it a bit more context. So I mentioned that we have an app, and a bit of a different approach to most initiatives that teach girls coding, because instead of running our own events, we have created a product that could be used by other initiatives. And in fact, we are currently running some workshops with Riga Tech girls where they're using our product, which is really exciting.
Yeah.
But so yeah, this is the Imagi Charm, which is our programmable accessory. And if I open it up, I can sort of like wake up, and then it's going to be ready to be programmed. So this a part of our solution, the Imagi Charm, which you can wear and sort of use to show the world what you can create to code, can be instantly programmed from our app, where you learn to code in Python, so a real coding language. So for example, now I'm using this built-in function called heart and passing it a color argument. So I made it green. But if you have a different favorite color, I don't know if either of you has a favorite color, perhaps?
Blue.
Blue? Okay, so I'll pass it a blue, and then I upload it now, then now it's like turned into blue. So you can see how like really quickly you're able to use coding to sort of like modify something real and existing in the world. And so essentially, since we launched our app, which was about a year ago, we've been working with several organizations, and we've also been delivering these devices to parents and kids around the world. And until now, we've had 5,000 users trying out our product. So we're at the beginning of the journey, but reaching more and more girls with the Python skills through our app, and providing more and more content. And just to kind of like get back to what Līna mentioned about like going these like full cycles, we also say that our like long-term vision will be that perhaps one day we ourselves will start supporting and investing in the startups that are founded by the girls who first learned to code on the imagiLabs app. So, you know, bringing more girls into tech will create more girls creating more products.
Fantastic. Yeah. Well, just my final question, Dora, to you. What do you see your girls to be interested in besides programming? And this is a fantastic hardware and software tool that you developed. I'd love to have one for me and my 14-year-old daughter. But what are the girls that you're having in your program? What they are interested in besides coding?
So, right, the basic premise of sort of how we started out was to essentially bring coding into things that girls enjoy to do. And so some of the things we discovered was how much today's teenagers loved using their phones as opposed to computers, which is why we made our solution like mobile first. Then we also saw that sort of community aspect and just doing things together with friends was really important to girls. And that's why we made it sort of like social, where you can share your projects, comment on each other's project and collaborate. And then essentially just creativity. So we have projects that prompt you to code something to the rhythm of your favorite song, or things that sort of like, again, just like map to interests that we have. And we engage with the platforms that girls already use, be that social media, TikTok, Instagram, or we also have a Discord server. So we really try to sort of like show up where our users are and show how coding can be kind of combined with other interests.
I love it. Fantastic. Līna, final question to you. How do you think we can inspire girls to code and to have a big mission to impact the world?
I would suggest start with the Dora's product because we are very, very excited at Riga Tech Girls to have the workshop, and we've been planning this series of workshops, especially for girls, and this is something that we're really looking forward to. So I think this is a good start. But yeah, one of the main things is I think doing these kinds of events and providing them with the chance, and it's not always it's not always the things, and it's not always the toys, especially for very, very younger kids or the older ones as well. But I think it's providing these opportunities and giving them a chance and talking to them about how this is important. And I think that is currently, at least with us, not so much done in our school environments. And if it would be done, that we would have this opportunity for them to see how amazing and interesting technology is, and that there are so many things out there that are available for kids at any ages, I think, and the opportunities that are only growing. So I think it's important for that to provide opportunities for them, and to give workshops like these and give them kind of like, yeah, exactly, communities where they can do this, but together with their friends. Such as, I remember we played snakes on our mobile phones when we were kids, but if you can have an equivalent and do it with your friends, I think it's an amazing place to start, and it already gives them this chance that this is for them. Why wouldn't it be that for them? Because they already started with having something that they succeed in with their friends together, so they don't have the stereotype in them anymore, and they cannot be influenced by outside factors because they already came acquainted with something that they are good with in technology. And I think that is a key start. And the second thing would actually be to touch the parents who also are very, very influenced about where they bring their children, and how they what are the toys that they buy for their girls and what are the toys that they buy for their boys. And I think that is also a key aspect, talking to the parents and inspiring them to bring their girls to these kinds of events, because most likely up to a certain age, the parents are the ones who are deciding which workshops the kids are going to attend, and which are their extracurricular activities that they're going to attend. And most often than not, when I've taught kids coding quite a lot of years ago, this is something that we noticed quite a lot, that at the age where parents bring them, they decide on where to bring each kid. So they decide not to bring the girls, even though they don't know if they would like it or not. They make this decision for them. But I would invite them through conversations like these to maybe not be so quick to judgment. If you bring someone and they don't like it, that's absolutely okay with everyone, but do give them a chance, and do give them this opportunity to be inspired by technology, and see these role models and attend these events so that they can decide on their own.
Yeah, absolutely agree with you. Well, thank you so much, Dora and Līna. That was a very insightful conversation. I hope many founders will be inspired to bring female coders to their companies, and parents and young ladies to study coding, to bring their kids to coding. So thank you so much. And please follow Riga Tech Girls and imagiLabs. These are the founders. Dora is the founder of imagiLabs, and Līna is a co-creator at Riga Tech Girls. Thank you so much for this conversation.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.